First program. The views expressed are those of the guests and not necessarily those of the producer. Today's topic:
Flag burning and the right to the free press in Passion for Truth award-winning program.
Welcome to another edition of Passion for Truth. The Senate rejected the flag burning amendment. It brings a mix of patriotism and the right to free speech. Is the flag burning an overreaction to something that rarely happens? We'll ask our panelists next. Benjamin Walsh, Washington Director of Dalit Freedom Network. He also works on issues of religious liberty throughout South Asia. Retired Ambassador Jonathan Dean, advisor on international security issues. Bob Price, one of the leading attorneys in the Washington metropolitan area. And Son Agarwal, with expertise on investment opportunities in India. Welcome you all. You think, Ben, flag burning in public is an insult to the nation's founders or a dishonor to American soldiers who died for the country fighting tyranny?
I think there's a difference between something that is wrong and something that should be made illegal. Personally, I think that flag burning shouldn't be done, but that doesn't mean that it necessarily contradicts our rights as Americans. I think that flag burning should be allowed to be an expression of what we believe, and if it's in disagreement with the government. Now, obviously, I think you should vote instead of going out and burning your flag, but if burning your flag is how you are going to express your vehement disagreement with the government, then I think you should have that right. Not that I think you should do it, but I think you should have the right.
Ambassador Dean, all Americans must express their views about their government, no matter how disrespectful those views may be?
Well, they're not compelled to express their views. But the Supreme Court said that flag burning is part of freedom of expression. I think, like my friend here, I accept this as freedom, but I don't like the practice, and I hope that it's done less and less.
If you, Bob, burn a flag in anger, it is categorized as a conduct problem, not speech problem. Can you make that subtle distinction?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not sure there is a distinction. I mean, it's an action. Whether the action should be illegal or not per se, just because you burn a flag, no. That's you know, it's no more illegal and you know, should not be any more illegal than denouncing the President of the United States. You're not creating any problems. You're not pillaring his office, just the man. And by being upset with the flag or burning the flag, you're showing being upset with the government's actions or policies. I think this whole issue before Congress is a red herring. There are certainly numerous and many much more important issues facing this country today than whether a flag is burned or not, as distasteful as we may find that. I mean, the last flag burning case, I don't think there's been more than close to 15 years before there was one before the Supreme Court. I don't think there's been one in a state court in the last half dozen years. So, you know, in the meanwhile, we've got people who can't make a livable wage on the minimum wage. We've got Korea threatening bombs. We've got ourselves in Iraq. We've got the people who desperately need health insurance. Why our congressmen are worried about flag burning is beyond me.
The answer is simple. It's a pre-election gimmick designed to have people vote against it and then be castigated in the election process.
That's right.
Okay, we're joined by another panelist, Fred Peterson from the Institute of Religion and Public Policy, and we're talking about flag burning amendment, whether or not it's a greater symbol of our democracy. And Fred, what do you say to those who view the U.S. flag as the symbol of our democracy, our commitment to justice?
Well, the panel has responded to flag burnings by saying that it's quite beyond them, and that the objection, the strenuous objection that has been shown to this is somehow inexplicable. I think it is quite explicable in that in the United States particularly, the flag is a symbol of what America stands for. And the attempt to burn the flag is not perceived of as simply a protest against an individual event, but rather an insult to the foundations which sustain the ability to support freedom in this country. And it's that I think is what is found so objectionable here, that may not be quite, if a flag was less a symbol of what America is as it is in some other countries, it perhaps would have less meaning connected with it.
Flag burning is always a sensitive issue. There are people who would just die for their flag, and we are supposed to die for the flag. But flag burning is here as a form of protest. In other countries there is a strikes, but here in this country there is no other form of protesting against the government. So those people who are burning flag today, they may be dying for the flag tomorrow also.
Well, I think few that would be burning the flag today would be dying for that flag under any circumstances at any time. I think in many cases it is intended as a particularly provocative insult. And why should they be surprised then when people are not insulted by this behavior?
The proposed amendment said Congress shall have the power to prohibit the physical desecration of the flag of the United States. And as we know, the Senate rejected the flag burning amendment. We're going to shift our gears a little bit. If the U.S. flag is the symbol of our democracy, is the free press not a greater symbol of our democracy? We'll ask our panelists next. Stay with us. Passion for Truth. Ambassador Dean, should the press temporarily abandon its role during war and not serve the basic purpose of the First Amendment?
No, I don't think it should. It has to play by rules, and it does cooperate with the administration to a large degree. The exceptions are few, and I think, to refer to your earlier question, the free press is not necessarily a greater symbol than the flag, but it is a more important, and even more important, institution of democracy.
But there is no such thing as free press. Absolute freedom doesn't exist. So press is a business. They run a business, and it's surprising that the press could get information, secret information. And if the press can get it, then what about the enemies? They have more resources than the press.
Whereas the flag is a symbol of democracy and the
nation, yes.
And the nation, a free press is a substantial manifestation of that freedom, and was seen to be so important that it was protected in the Bill of Rights quite explicitly by the Founding Fathers. We should note also, though, that we're focusing so much on the freedom of the press, and little are we focusing on the responsibility of that press to act responsibly.
Okay, let me come back to you, Ben. Should there be right to free speech in overseeing the government's national security policies?
I think it has limits. I think I agree for the most part with what Fred said, and that if your freedom of press is undermining the defense of those freedoms, then you're destroying the very freedoms that you're trying to protect. I mean, I think as soon as you go, there is a line. It's somewhat vague, but you know when you've crossed it. And I think it's been crossed. We've seen it crossed a couple of times in the past few months, where the administration is trying to defend life itself, American life, and American democracy. And in exercising what we perceive to be some of our freedoms, some people have gone over the line. They've gone too far, and they've undermined our national security.
Well, that's a controversial question, Bob. If the government maintains the position that certain information would damage national security, should the newspaper publish the information, or should they keep silent?
Well, first you have to realize that the breach of security doesn't come from the press. It comes from whomever had knowledge of a secure idea, whatever the secret idea was. Somebody's released it to the